Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Entrepreneurship Matters. My name is Alicia Wilson. I'm Vice President for Economic Development for Johns Hopkins University and Johns Hopkins Health System. And it is my pleasure to introduce and present to others two amazing entrepreneurs from our community in the furniture business. Let me bring on the screen Garrett and Raina, and then set us up for the show, and we're going to launch right into the conversation. What we all know is that successful businesses, successful entrepreneurs are not built in a day. It takes hard work, a lot of long-term commitment, a lot of grit, and a lot of passion to make it happen. And these two entrepreneurs that I'm going to introduce you to today are no different. Raina and Garrett, come on screen. Don't worry, I'm going to give you their bios. And they are the first entrepreneurs we have been featuring in the furniture business. So this is a real honor, and they are two, I would say, world-class furniture entrepreneurs in our community. Just so blessed to have them here. We started this over 50 weeks ago at the urging of a young entrepreneur, Camry Moses, and and we've been having wonderful conversations ever since. Let me give you both of their bios, and they're going to launch right into the conversation. Garrett, come on camera, don't be shy. Garrett Brooks is the founder and owner of Goodwood Design. After graduating from Rhode Island College of Design with a degree in furniture design, Garrett lived and worked in a Buddhist monastery doing sculptural welding. It's interesting. After that, he moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan to work as a chief preparator at the Grand Rapids Art Museum. There he designed and installed changing exhibitions. After moving to Baltimore in 2012, we're glad you're part of the Baltimore crew. He started Goodwood Design with the intention of bringing to life his furniture designs. In his free time, he still spends most of his time working the shop, building furniture. We're going to get to see the shop today, everybody. Don't worry about, it's a shop, so don't worry about what it looks like. We're going to get to see all of his designs today. So welcome, Garrett. So glad to have you on today.
Hi.
And you're welcome. And next, I have Raina Smallwood. She is the owner and founder of Adorn Vintage Furniture and Designs. Raina is a Baltimore native. What high school?
High school. I went to high school in the county. I went to Woodlawn.
Okay, don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of it. It's good. Woodlawn, great high school. Has a background in interior design, furniture restoration, and a passion for architecture and good design. Raina has a flair, you're going to see this, for mixing vintage earthy pieces with modern furniture to create a comfortable and functional sanctuary. Her belief is that our homes should bring us peace, and they should represent who we are by housing a collection of our favorite memories, adventures, and all of the things that we hold dear. Sharing the importance of a happy home is her passion and her greatest contribution to the community. Thank you for coming on, Raina. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to launch right in because you two, I would say you're artists. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Great. So it's always lovely to have artists on because you all are a beautiful training. And so what inspired you to be entrepreneurs? Because artists you could just make art for art's sake, but you also make art for people's sake. So what inspired you, Garrett, to become an entrepreneur?
I mean, during my time when I was working at the art museum, I was working with a lot of artists. Like I was doing a lot of installations for artists through the museum. And through that process, sort of talk to them about how they started, and it just eventually became like, my background's in design, and I just wanted to do it on my own instead of just working for someone else and doing it. So.
All right, so other artists inspired you to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's so interesting. And so, how about you, Raina? What inspired you to want to become an entrepreneur?
So for me, furniture was always a thing of mine, but I wanted to offer it at a price point that was accessible for everyone. And I wanted to introduce good design to everyone. And I felt like some of the other vintage shops just had a higher price point. There's nothing wrong with that, but I felt like if I could afford it, then it was priced perfectly. So that's what I wanted to offer. And I felt like that I could only do that having my own space.
Yeah, so interesting. So you saw the marketplace, you saw some of what you wanted to create to be out of reach financially. And so you wanted to create it for a consumer base that could afford it and wanted to design beautiful thought. And so let's switch to how did you start that business? Because you both had a passion. Garrett, you had someone at the art museum, you watching their art, and you also learning about their business. But what took you from working for someone else to working for yourself? What were the steps you went through?
I mean, I did it sort of based on what a lot of them had told me, like, you can never like do it unless you go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I quit my job that I had at the art museum and I moved to Baltimore and started a studio and went 100% in. So I didn't have any other job, nothing. And I just went completely in and just hustled for a few years, probably still hustling.
Still hustling. Okay,
Still
so
hustling.
you quit your job.
Yeah.
And then and why Baltimore?
Initially, because there were other people I knew doing similar things in Baltimore. It seemed like a good place where you could get cheap rents and things like that. So
Excellent. It's I mean, we are economically sound and you have good friends here. So that's a good thing. Okay, so hold on. You skipped a couple steps. So you quit your job.
Yeah.
You must have had a little bit of money in the bank.
Little bit
In the bank. And then you come to Baltimore and
we rented a studio space.
Okay.
I had some of my machinery prior. I had a studio in Grand Rapids. Okay. I would probably produce like, at the time I'd produce like 1 or 2 pieces of furniture, like custom pieces for people, clients.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, that was probably the taste. And it was like knowing that I wanted to do it more often. Like it brought me so much joy to do that. So I mean, there's a lot of steps in there.
No, that's good. That's good. You found the location.
Yes.
And then you built from there. You built from what was 1 or 2 pieces for your friends into something that you're in the Baltimore Museum of Art and other places, Local Fry, other places. We're going to talk about that as well. I got the preview on that. So Raina, tell me about how did you go from observing the marketplace, realizing you want to fulfill a niche in the marketplace to provide vintage furniture to individuals at a lower price point. How did you go from that idea to starting your business?
So it started with, I went to an auction with my mom at the time, and I saw how it worked, and I saw like the pieces coming in, and I was like, okay, this is it. So then I started collecting pieces and it started with like at her house, at my house. And I was like, stocking up, increasing my collection. And as I kept going, I had to increase to a storage unit. So from there, I would find pieces, I would stash them away in the storage unit. And so for me, it was a very slow progression into like having my own business. So before Adorn, I had another vintage furniture store. It was called Cedar and Cotton. And so that's how it started. We collected the pieces, we started selling out of a storage unit, and then we eventually found a larger location in a warehouse in West Baltimore. So we started selling out of there, and then we were there for a year, and then we moved down the hallway to a slightly larger space, all while I had a full-time job and 2 kids, trying to, do it all.
Okay, so both of you are little wizards. Okay, so you're trying to make it seem. So a couple of things you just pointed out. One, you went to the auction and learned how the business worked, and how the industry worked. Yeah. And then you started collecting pieces and you started to scale, right? So you started selling out of a storage unit.
Mhm.
Then you start in your own sort of warehouse space, and then you continue to increase as your business increases.
Yes.
Just I think very helpful for other entrepreneurs who are watching or thinking like, how would I start such a business? To know that both of you, started with a studio, started with a storage unit, and then worked your way up, worked your way out as your customer base grew. So let me ask you this. Let me tell everyone, yes, I see your questions already coming in on Facebook and Zoom. And you also, if you're listening, can text your questions in. Text them to JHUWL 22333. So JHUWL to the number 22333. And put your question in the chat, and I will get all those questions and ask them as a part of this conversation. But a couple of people have asked this question a couple of different ways, but why furniture? So you could be in almost anything, but why the furniture business? Garrett, what drew you, like the chair, that couch? What drew you to the furniture business in general?
I mean, that's a pretty long story, but like I have like, so before like my undergrad degree, I did like go community college. I was taking a lot of art classes. I was initially like, I was going to go to school for printmaking, and it wasn't until I was applying to colleges and I saw the like sort of course manual for that specific college, Rhode Island School of Design, and they have like a furniture department, and it jumped out at me. And it was like I had no skills in it at all, but it's like the program teaches you from like the ground up. They teach you everything, and it was sort of a long shot. And so just because I got in, I just decided to go.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, I was literally going to go into a totally different field. I had actually like accepted college at a different school and everything else.
And you saw something that sparked your passion.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, to answer your question, like the architectural side of it, I'd always looked at, those things, and always liked those things, and liked furniture and design, and then it was like to actually be able to make it by hand, like appealed to me. Like all the arts I had done before were all process based, so I was really into like doing the process.
Yeah. How about you, Raina? I mean, I see you nodding your head when Garrett's talking about the architectural design. But what drew you to the furniture business?
So it was always a part of my life. Like my mom, we used to go thrifting together, and she was very like home decorator, like my aunt, all my family. So it's something that I feel like is ingrained in me. Like I was a kid who would redesign my room every other week.
Oh, you were that kid.
I was that kid. So it's been a part of me.
Yeah, no, so both of you talked about taking leaps, and Garrett, you quit your job, got in the truck, came to Baltimore. Raina, you were working a job and then said, I'm going to take the leap into becoming an entrepreneur. One question we received a couple of different ways is, what inspired you to take the full leap into entrepreneurship? Garrett, what allowed for you to take that leap?
I mean, I think that goes back to that, like when I was working at the art museum, I was installing, there were shows that we would do. There was a show that we did every year where we'd work with like 20 individual artists, and I would do like all the planning for them, like throughout the year. And then it'd run for 2 weeks. And I think there was a 2-week install before the 2 weeks it ran. So I was literally just doing all the work for these artists and their installations. And that was just like, it was so much fun to do that, but then it was like, I could make a living doing, making furniture. So.
Yeah. And Raina, what about you? What made you take the full leap? Because you could have stayed at your job.
Yeah. So it's funny for me because I am, I'm very Virgo, and I'm very like controlling. So I am usually one of the people who like to have everything planned out. So with the first business, like, yeah, I worked while I was building it, but towards the end, I was laid off of that job.
Ah,
And I'm not sure how long I would have continued to do both before I quit the main one.
yeah.
And put all of my time into the furniture business.
Mm.
So it kind of happened for me, but I took it as like, this is my opportunity to really give it my all and do it. And I remember having conversations with other entrepreneurs and them telling me like, you know, it's scary at first, but like once you take that leap, like you're very motivated to make sure that those bills get paid. Like, you know, that this month, like you have this and this that needs to get paid, and you really work to make sure that at the least, like those bills are taken care of, you know, and that's what I found myself doing.
Yeah, and so as you talk about that, I want to segue and stay with you for a minute, and then I'm gonna go to Garrett. But how did you raise capital? So you talked about starting your business. You had a little bit of nest egg, how did you raise the capital for your business when you started out?
Okay. So with the first business, it was slowly. So everything was out of pocket from the beginning, like up until we started to make a profit. But after shutting that down and creating Adorn, I got a lot of help from the community. I reached out to the couple behind Dovecote Cafe.
Oh,
Yes, amazing. Cole and Aisha. And, you know, I reached out to Aisha and I was like, you know, I know you guys know a lot about brands. Like, is there anything that you can suggest that I look up that I could apply for to kind of get this started up again? And then, so, you know, she was like, okay, let me talk to Cole and I'll get back to you. And a couple of days later, they were like, hey, you know, August is coming up. Let's create a crowd fund, like a crowd sourcing fund, and we will match every dollar up to $5,000 so that you can reach
oh, and then a blessing.
It was incredible because, you know, at the time I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So not only did they help out, but like all of the community, like all of our previous customers, like friends, family, like everyone contributed to making this whole thing happen.
That's such a beautiful Baltimore story.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
know, thank God for Aisha and Cole to do that and to support another entrepreneur. And I think that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. We heard these stories on here of how these entrepreneurs help others start their business, and beautiful that it came out of Baltimore. How about you, Garrett? How did you raise capital?
I mean, it's like goes to my, like, I just really had to hustle and work with, like, I knew specifically what I wanted to do. So it's like, I kind of reached out to the architects and interior designers and sort of like, just, you know, let them know that I was here. And, you know, slowly they give you projects. And if you do a good job on your project, you get another project. I mean, it probably took a few years to get kind of established. And like, at this point, like, I have a pretty good group of architects that I work with that, you know, they will call upon me generally like first or second. So
No, it's a cyclical amount of like business, like the money trading within our community,
yeah,
right? So one person referring you to another that allows for you to continue to grow your business. I'm definitely going to be huge support. I'm gonna tell everybody about
yeah.
y'all after this. I mean, the world knows now you're on Facebook Live on Jay's Connects. But let me ask you this: there's a couple of questions that have come in on COVID. And so we know last week we had on real estate folks. So they're two women, two amazing entrepreneurs in the real estate field. And today we're talking about furniture. So how did COVID impact your industry? Because they're related, right? Real estate and furniture. You need furniture goes in real estate. So how did you navigate during the pandemic? And were there adjustments that you had to make? So Garrett, how did you navigate?
I mean, we lucked out a little bit. I had a big project that I had bid on like 3 years ago, and it actually came to fruition. Like the budget was already set, so that was like came into fruition. So we didn't stop too much, but and also like for some reason like this side of the business is sort of booming right now. Like people are
Mhm.
still spending money on these types of things, but it did impact us as far as like due dates, slowed down. There were a
Sure.
lot of time. There was a job site that we couldn't go to until the construction finished because of the pandemic.
Mhm,
So there's
mhm.
been a lot of that sort of slowed down. But I mean, yeah, it's been tough. So
Yeah. Yeah, and Raina, I imagine you have a similar story in terms of maybe the ebbs and the flows, but how did the pandemic impact your business?
For me, it's funny because I started Adorn December 5th. So we were still like in the pandemic. And I guess it was probably
December 5th of
2020.
2020. Okay.
So
Courageous. You're a
scary.
courageous, bold woman. I love it.
But it's like, if not now, then when?
That's right. That's
And
right.
then the great thing about it is that because folks were home and they were spending so much time at home, furniture, home improvements, like all of those things, that market was still kind of going. So it was probably one of the best times for me to start a furniture business because everyone is still in the market for furniture. So it truly worked out.
No, it's true because I've heard that there's like a furniture shortage. Like everyone bought their homes and bought office space, and they didn't realize that there wasn't going to be the same amount of furniture because people weren't. So I mean, I was guessing that there probably was a compliment to what we heard last week from those real estate entrepreneurs, that there was some great things that happened for your businesses during COVID that were really unanticipated. And that leads me to this next question, which is, what's been your greatest accomplishment thus far? Raina, you started in 2020. I take my hat off to you. You are a courageous individual who clearly is just so talented. Garrett, keeping going. So what's been your greatest accomplishment thus far in your business? Garrett?
I mean, that was like you asked that one before we went on, and I was like, I don't know. There's a couple projects that you always feel like there's something that you're doing that's really fun. We have a project right now that we're working on that's like we're doing a custom walnut serpentine like bench. It's like solid walnut, and there's like a certain aspect of like design, because that's like my background is in design, so I actually have to engineer and design it. And that's like, but it's like it comes and goes. Like I would say there's a few different ones probably. It's hard for me to like put a finger on it, because there's always like, it's either like working with an individual. Sometimes there's restaurants. It's a lot of fun working with people that way. But then sometimes there's like something we get the designer build that's like a one-off that no one's done before, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. How about you, Raina? What's your greatest accomplishment thus far in the business?
I think right now it's just keeping Adorn going right now. to start it in the middle of a pandemic and being able to keep it going, throughout it is just been huge for me. Just in the beginning, I was a little nervous sourcing furniture. It's going to this place, going to that place, and I was still a little hesitant. And I had like small kids at home, so it was something to think about. But I just think the ability to keep furniture in here has been an accomplishment for me.
No, absolutely. And this leads to a question of like keeping the furniture in there. But how did you go about building your clientele? How did you think about sort of, I'm starting a business, I'm selling art, I'm selling a part of what's going to become a part of someone's home, but how did you reach the customer and the consumer? What were the techniques you utilized? Garrett, how did you do that?
I mean, we have a website. We put a website together that was really good. I think Instagram has been probably the best of like any of the social things. Just being able to post like the stories, especially so people can see like what we're doing and what we're working on, and then being able to post like the finished product. Also, like that's been really great. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot of the stuff we've been doing was like commercials. So it's like just being able to finish a project and it's out there and people see it. And then the customers themselves recommend this to other people.
Yeah. So trying to getting that word of mouth. There's no substitute for good work that's out there, and someone says, "Who did that?" And who?
And then it's, I mean, it's great. It's great on the local level where it's like knowing other talented people like Raina and being able to recommend people for stuff. I mean, that's like, you know, if we're in a project, like I can recommend like some other fabricator or someone who does floral work or whatever. So
and you probably get that back, that cross referral back to your business as you know, like you said, recommend talented folks like Raina. Raina's sending them back to you, and you all are collaborating, which is beautiful about the having local entrepreneurs working together. How about you, Raina? How do you build your clientele?
It's a lot of the same. I do a lot on Instagram, word of mouth. There's a lot of word of mouth. I try to include myself in various events. You know, I'll donate furniture or, you know, just help out where I can in the community with like other entrepreneurs, other businesses, and yeah.
Excellent. And so what's the most challenging thing? I mean, I have no concept of the furniture business. I mean, I have a little in the terms I'm a purchaser. We purchase it within the company, but the actual what you do. But what's the most challenging thing that would surprise people about your industry and what you do? I'm gonna go to Raina because Garrett's thinking about it. I'm gonna go to Raina first. Raina, what's the most challenging thing about being in your industry?
For me, we're in a time where a lot of folks have access to Facebook Marketplace, and you know, they can go to the thrift store and they can go to other, you know, places to source some of the same vintage pieces. So I think for me, it's finding key pieces to keep people coming back, making sure that I price them right, and then creating an experience in the store, an environment in the store where people feel comfortable coming back, like not just, you know, for the furniture, but just to pop in and see what else is going on, you know. So having events and things like that, just, you know, keeping it fresh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How about you, Garrett?
I mean, I think
most challenging thing.
I think it's some of that is like the similar as like what she's saying. It's like there's also the value of like having something that's custom made. I mean, there's a lot of times people come to us and like, you know, they'll show us like an IKEA piece of furniture, and I love IKEA. I love IKEA for this design sense, but at the same time, it's like they want you to fit that price point, and it's like an impossible price point. You know, because the cost of materials, especially now, material costs have gone up a lot during the pandemic. So it's like material costs, all these things. It can get challenging because, you know, sometimes you really want to do the project and you just can't fit the price.
Yeah, we've heard like the price of lumber has like in some cases doubled.
Yes, and like and metal's gone up a lot too. It's like everything's just, and that's like it's hard for us because we're turning it, you know, those material costs then go back on the client. Like,
so, yeah, no, absolutely. Now, both of you have teams, right?
Correct.
A team, yes.
So how did you go about building your team? Raina, how'd you build your team?
So for me, my team is my family.
Get born into it. Yes, I love it.
They were born into it.
I know you, and I saw you hesitate because you're like, will they be offended when I call them? Yes, they love being called your team.
Yes. Yeah, so that's it. It's my fiance, my mom, my brothers, my friends, my kids. That's my team.
Excellent. And so everyone's invested in the business. And
yeah. In one way or another, they are, and it's amazing to have like that type of support all the time.
Yeah, no, it's great because we've had many people come on, and we've had business owners be in the business, and their cousin is working at the front desk, and And so there are so many businesses in our country that were started with the family as the team. You know, the COO, the CEO, the chief, everything was somebody in the family. So that's a beautiful thing that you can have a business that is actually a source of revenue for everybody. So it's a great thing.
It
Excellent,
is.
excellent. How about you, Garrett? How'd you go about building your team?
I mean, I've tried a couple different iterations. I mean, I've been doing this now 10 years. I've had just people who come in as temp workers. I've had, if I knew there was a big enough project. I've tried hiring people a couple times. We just did sort of during the pandemic. I had a new team start, and I have a guy that's doing more of the back end. So he's doing a lot of customer relations, he's doing a lot of the computer and the billing and like taking care of all that stuff. And then I have a full-time guy that's in the shop with me. It was basically so I could get back in the shop and do more of the fabrication. It's always been very difficult to hire like fabricators that are on the same, like being able to do everything. Like, you know, it's easier to find people who can sand. It's harder to find people who can like do all the joinery and everything else. So.
Yeah. No, we've heard, and that's you know, it's very hard to find someone who can jack of all trade or Jane of all trade.
Right. And those people end up costing a lot too.
Yeah, they also cost a lot. Yeah, the versatile. Yes, the versatile. So let me ask you this: did you ever have any doubts about going into the furniture industry? Any doubts? Like no doubts.
All the time.
All the time. Yeah,
all the time.
Raina has no doubts. Garrett has doubts
all the time.
All the time. And how do you overcome them?
I always just have to remember like that I enjoy. I mean, there's the enjoyment afterwards. It's like the enjoyment during. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And where did you get your confidence from? Garrett's having doubts every day. Raina, you shook your head. Where are you getting this? Where are you getting? It's giving you all the faith. Tell us.
You know, I don't know. I guess it's like, you know, I've seen over the past few years where in moments on my path, opportunities have always presented themselves. And I think I just keep faith in that, you know, and I just keep taking the opportunities and things seem to work themselves out. So I'm a knock on wood and hope that keeps happening.
Yeah, you keep getting the little winks. You're like, keep going.
Yeah.
They call them God winks. He tells you to keep going. There's another opportunity. So I agree. Both of you are so accomplished and so impressive that both of you, I mean, there's no reason for you to doubt. We're gonna make sure you can spend more time with Raina here and have that. So we have a couple of people just saying how much they love this conversation, love hearing about your stories, love hearing that, and including we have a couple, my old high school teacher, but we also have I think we confirmed, yep, she's listening. Oprah's listening and a number of other investors are listening today, special for this edition. This is really a treat. So let me ask you, I'm gonna start with you, Raina, and then I'm going to go to Garrett. What can, you know, folks who, you know, may have the resources like Oprah or investors who are watching maybe from different banks, different companies, but then also us as ordinary citizens, what can we do to support businesses like yours to thrive in our community? What things should we put in place? You talked about what the owners of Delco did for you and support that they gave, but what could we do at all different levels to support businesses like yours?
And I think maybe small business funds, giving where you can, like when there's a crowdsourcing opportunity, giving then, word of mouth, really promoting folks, you know, helping people get their name out there. I think that really helps. Word of mouth is like the hugest marketing point. And coming and shopping.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think that we love this platform because we want to try to use our platform to get you exposed to everyone in our network, that can see your design, see what the work you're doing, and realize just the beauty of Baltimore, but also the beauty of our entrepreneurs here in Baltimore. And so we are putting it into the chat. I'm going through the questions sort of fast because we're going to do some tours. So I want to make sure we get to the tours, everyone. But in the chat, you have all of the ways you can reach out to Raina and Garrett. So Garrett, Oprah's watching. A couple other investors are watching. Folks, my people are watching, a lot of people are watching. How can we support businesses like yours and make sure we're doing everything we can to make sure you choose Baltimore and stay in Baltimore?
Yeah, well, I mean, buying local, like if it can fit the budget and you can do that, you can use local makers in your project, even if it's in your residence or whatever. Like it would be phenomenal. It's great to do. So I just know it's like it doesn't always stick. It just depends on people's budget. So
yeah. No, I think one thing that came out of COVID is I think people became much more conscious about what they consume and where they consume from, and want to get closer to the individuals that are creating in our community. And you are two of our brightest lights in Baltimore. So it's been.
That was during COVID. Like I had friends that owned businesses and restaurants, and they needed to help transition over to doing just like pickup only, and I gave them access to the shop to do whatever they needed to do just to get by so they could stay open. So
yeah, no, those like little things, like the entrepreneur community here, it's just beautiful to see how you all piggyback off of one another and help one another and support one another through these times. Okay, so now we're getting okay. All right, I'm going to get to that question at the end. I promise I'll get to the next question at the end about what would they give themselves. Okay, so let's get to our tours. So Raina, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So Raina's going to take us on a tour of our shop. Tell us where you're located.
Okay, we are at 1004 Morton Street, right in Mount Vernon. So right near Charles and Eager Street. Okay, so.
And you're featuring some other artists behind you. I see it.
Yeah, so this is a local artist. His name is Christopher Johnson. And he is having an opening reception here October 2nd. So make sure you guys get tickets for that. It's amazing. All of these pieces were created live. He's going to do that here in the shop when he has his opening reception.
Say it again, October 2nd.
October 2nd here at the shop. He's having his opening reception.
And how can we get tickets?
There is a link on his page, which is at Colepiece on Instagram, and then on my bio on Instagram, there's a link as well.
All right, we're getting tickets. We're coming through.
Yeah,
October 2nd, we're coming through. All right, show us around.
Okay, so this is my favorite corner in the front of the shop. The plant corner, our seating area. And this is...
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Thank you. All of our pieces. And as I said, we are a family business. So you see my stepdaughter here lounging on the sofa.
Oh yeah, we see her.
And we have a mural also created by a local artist in the back here. Rebecca.
Beautiful.
At Becky Roses on Instagram.
Say that again. Who's the artist?
Rebecca, and on Instagram it's at Becky Roses. No C, Beky Roses.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so back here is my work area. So I was working on this desk in the back here. We restored that and we painted the front of it.
Beautiful. It's like a cherry wood, or?
I'm sorry. So this is a like a laminate, but the front we painted.
Beautiful.
And this is the front view. And these doors, you'll come by and these doors are always open. Don't
worry, we will be by. And And again, give us the address so we know where we're stopping and parking on the street.
Okay, we're at 1004 Morton Street.
4th Street. Excellent. Beautiful pieces. And I love how you blended local artists and incorporated them in your space. And we'll be there on October 2nd, buying tickets from from the link on your Instagram. Excellent. Thank you so much for showing us off. I like that piece in the back, the woman looking at you. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Excellent. All right, Garrett, we're going on a tour with you too.
Okay.
All right.
Give me a second. I just heard him start making noise again. So.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And where are you located, Garrett?
We're at 2108 Asquith Street.
That's right.
So it's like that's sort of North Avenue, and like Greenmount's not too far from here. I don't know, isn't it? So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, you can see
Wow.
it's a very, very big shop. I was in the front.
Wow.
And we have all our different, a lot of different machines to mill the wood, to cut the wood. Several different table saws.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this was what I was saying before, is like we've been working on this project for the local fry.
Oh, it's gonna look like it's gonna look like fries.
So it's just more that like the color of it.
Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah. And so there's like, we have an entire wall that we built that we'll be installing on Sunday at the local fry. And then it'll probably take us another, because we can only install when they're closed. So it'll be like another Sunday, and then we should be done with that.
And what percentage of your projects right now are from Baltimore?
Right now, all of our project, well, no, actually no. So I would say 95%. There's one project we're working on that's in Montgomery County. And that's it. Everything else is Baltimore.
100% in Maryland, 95% in Baltimore.
Correct.
So wonderful. So good. So good. Excellent.
Yeah.
And so do you have if somebody, I know you gave us the address, it doesn't look like you want us to stop by this place, but is there a place where people stop by?
Normally no, but during like the pandemic, we actually were selling wood offcuts. We did that for a little bit. So we had people stopping through and picking up stuff. We still do it. We still do sell stuff to people, like when we have like a surplus of material.
Okay.
But we thinned out a lot of our surplus.
Okay.
So
Excellent. This is so beautiful to see both of you all. See just the extent of your businesses. And how many people do you employ?
I have 2 others.
2 others. Great. Oh, look at that metal piece. No, turn back.
It's a wood base.
That's wood?
Yeah, it's a wood base. It's bent laminated.
Beautiful. And so what, you put a glass top on top?
This had a wood top for it, but it could do whatever.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Really neat. So let me ask you this question. What's been both of your most satisfying moment? And I probably if I had to answer the question for you, I probably just seen it, but what's been the most satisfying moment for you as a business owner? Raina, tell me about your most satisfying moment.
I think it's every day, knowing that I have this space, like just waking up and knowing that, we built this and, we have it, that it's a thing, it's a dream. Started with a $10 nightstand and now we have a whole shop. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. That could be a whole book. a $10 started with a $10 nightstand.
Yep.
Yep. How about you, Garrett? What's been the most satisfying moment in your business thus far?
I mean, I think overall it's like working with clients and creating solutions for people, and like overall, like there's a lot of enjoyment in that. And even like providing a solution. Like it's always problem solving. We do a lot of like every little bit of everything. So there's a lot of different problems that come up. It's like, so, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. And so where you started from, both of you, you can see like vividly the progression of your business, but what's the long-term vision? What's the on the pathway for you as the North Star? What are you working towards? Raina, I'd start with you.
Oh, I think for me, it would be a larger warehouse space. I would like to have more, offer more pieces. I would like to offer furniture rental, more pieces just for that. I would like to have Adorn trucks on the road, delivering furniture locally. I think I still want to keep that mom and pop feel, but I just would like to have it on a larger scale so I can reach more folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I love like the vision, the Adorn trucks on the road, the warehouse, the expansion. I can see it all. I see it all. The vision. I see it. Garrett, how about you? What's your long-term vision?
The next thing I think would be to design a line of furniture and then present it nationally and probably internationally, and be doing more of the stuff that we design and then actually build it in-house.
Wow. So that would be like presenting to like one of the big, having them buy your line.
Well, it'd be like what you end up doing is you present to there's furniture fairs.
Furniture fairs.
Yes, there's furniture fairs. There's one that happens in Baltimore, but it's specifically for office furniture. It's Neocon. Like you can do that, but there's ones that they do in New York City. There's one that they do in Miami. There's one they do in Los Angeles that you can present at and market a line of furniture. And then you end up working with more interior designers and more architects that are just, buying directly from you.
Oh, wow. I mean, you said a furniture fair, and I'm thinking about my mom's from High Point, North Carolina, which is the furniture capital.
Right. They still have the one there. That one's like a much more of a commercial one, but they have ones in New York City right now that as smaller makers, you can go, and it costs a lot to do it, but that's how you kind of get into those people, the interior designers that are doing these bigger projects.
Yeah. And have either of you been involved in like any technical assistance programs or anything that's sort of like making a plug? Have y'all been in the 10KSB program or any of the other programs offered? Oh, we're gonna make sure both of you know more about the 10,000 Small Business Program. That's we have an amazing team in Hopkins that spearheads that and works in tandem with spearheading it with Morgan State and CCBC. So we'll make sure you both get more information so you can apply and enter your vision of growth. You're perfect for that program. So we'll make sure you get information about how to get involved. Let me ask you this question. A couple people, I think Raina, because you talked about your family, but how did your family respond to you wanting to be an artist and an entrepreneur?
They were very supportive from the beginning. I remember reading this article and it talked about how it's very important to, when you're starting a business and you have small kids, to really include them in the process of it. So they are like partners in the business. So we have employee number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they feel involved with the process. My mom and my fiance, they were very supportive. Like when I told him in the middle of the pandemic that I wanted to start this, he didn't ask any questions. There was no hesitation. It was like, all right, this is what we're doing. Let's do it. So it's been great.
That's
Every-
great. And employee
yeah.
number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. How about you, Garrett? How did your family respond to you wanting to become an artist and an entrepreneur?
I mean, they've been very supportive. My mom's also like an artist, so growing up, that was always something that was around. So it's like she's been super supportive. My father's been super supportive. I mean, I think they think it's really cool. So
Yeah. And so as we think about, you talked about the tips, but for folks who wanted to support you, but if somebody has this on their mind, they need to contact you. If they're trying to do this in their life, they need to contact you as to talk about how you could they could be a customer of yours. What are those pivotal moments when they should be thinking about purchasing from you, Raina? I mean, I guess you can purchase a home, but are there other things that if someone is thinking about, I want to make sure that this is a part of whatever I'm creating, they should be contacting you?
Well, when they are making updates to their things, I have a lot of customers who come in and they are looking for a specific piece, or they are starting to transition into getting rid of some of their IKEA pieces and they want like sturdy pieces that's gonna last. So we have a lot of that here. I also do like some interior design services. So if you need help with like space planning, that's a thing, as well as a community space. So if you're looking for a space to hold an event or a small gathering, that's a thing as well.
Absolutely. You can come to your business. You have like a sound stage, right?
Yeah, well, we kind of set it up as needed.
I
But
call it a sound stage. Yeah.
yeah, we had a whole live music show in here, and it was amazing.
Hold on. Is your fiance George?
Yes.
That's a good man. I knew it. This is such a small world. That's a good man. That's a really good man.
He is.
He is wonderful. So that's really good. You're in the family. George is like family. So that's good. Now I put it all together in my head. All right, Garrett, how about you? If someone's thinking about something for their business, what would trigger someone to say they should be talking to you, Garrett?
I mean, even if it's like their residence or whatever, we do a lot of dining tables, we do a lot of vanities. A lot of stuff that comes up is like, in Baltimore, there's a lot of these small row houses. So people need something that fits a specific size, and it's like you can't find it through a big box store. It's like we'll do the custom size stuff. Yeah, like
That's a good point, because there are that doorway, that Baltimore row home doorway.
yeah,
It's a whole different size than everywhere else.
It comes up all the time. I think we have a project right now that's like, that's what the customer said. There's like they have a small row house and they can't find anything that fits in there.
It's a very good point. Now, let me ask you this question, which has come through a couple of different times in different ways, but what's been both of your experiences with mentorship? I'm imagining there are many people in the industry that, of course, maybe where you are trying to drive your business to. What's been your experiences with mentorship and during the process of starting your business? Raina?
For me, I don't have a lot of experience with that. I have a lot of folks that I found on Instagram that I am inspired by.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worked directly with any of them, but like often, I look to them, I see what they're doing, and it definitely, helps me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, Garrett, in mentorship?
I really haven't had too many mentors myself. I mean, it's like building up those relationships with some of these architects, and as their businesses are booming, like, having them, channel work through to us, like that's been really great. We've done some internships in-house, like I'll have people come through who aren't, they're not here to make a living, but they're here to learn things. And we've done that. I've also like done, sat in on some of the critiques over at Micah through some of the teachers and things like that. And I mean, that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Let me get this last question because I want to make sure you get to tell us how to contact you, how to support you, how to patronize you. But this last question came in, and I think it's a really great one, which is, what advice would you give artists, recent art school graduates, about turning their crafts into a sustainable business? Are there any tips you would give them as they're thinking about embarking upon their art, their craft, becoming a business? What are one or two things you would say to them? Garrett, I saw you laugh, chuckle a little bit.
I mean, it's a lot of work. It's really hard. It's difficult. I've made some of those commentary on, like, specifically for other things, like where people want to become a painter or something like that. Like a lot of that stuff, especially when I worked at the art museum, it's like having to go all in, but also like being in the right location. Like some of these curriculums or jobs that you want to do, like you kind of have to be in New York City or you have to be in Los Angeles. Like it's hard to do it. I think like what we're doing and Raina's doing, like there's this can exist in Baltimore, but some of these other, it's a real hard to never not have a job that you're depending on. So it's like you might still have to have a part-time job. I don't know. That's not a great answer.
No. I think you're saying, like, if you want to be in the furniture business, Baltimore's the new furniture capital. You might have to keep your part-time job for a little bit to finance yourself, but you can definitely create a business. Just start. And I think both of you told in your stories a process of scaling, right? Go all in and then scale.
Finding that thing that people need, and if you can, make it, and it's something that people need to have, and you can sell a lot of, then totally.
Yeah. How about you, Raina? What's one or two things you would say give to the art school student or the artist thinking about turning their craft into a business?
I definitely agree with everything that Garrett just said. But then to build on that, I would say being open to various opportunities, and they may not always appear how you think that they might, but just being open, one art show, one small art show, or one, small vending opportunity could always branch off to something else. Like depending upon, you could meet someone there, you could expose someone who's never heard of you, and word of mouth happens. So just being open to those opportunities, no matter how small they may seem, at the beginning, it could always lead to something bigger.
Yeah.
Excellent. Love it. Raina, how can people stay in contact with you?
Okay. I am Adorn Vintage Furniture on everything. AdornVintageFurniture.com, all one word, Instagram, Facebook, website. Keep it easy.
Excellent. Yep. You can get it on all the .coms and all the ads you can do. It's easy. How about you, Garrett? How can people get in contact with you?
It's the same. I actually have goodwooddesign.com. So that's a website. You can find that easily. I think you can look me up on Instagram under the same. There are other Goodwood designs out there, but I did get the .com before they got it. So
see, fast, delivered. Yep, excellent. Thank you both, Raina and Garrett. It has been a pleasure. Let me give a couple of announcements and then we're going to close out. We will return next week to feature two entrepreneurs. This is our first time doing this too. Nail polish and design. These are two nail polish entrepreneurs. They created their own nail polish lines. This is really interesting. Kendra Wooldridge of Janet and Joe and London Ward of Snob Nails. Please follow us on JH Connects on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Email feedback to jhconnects@jhu.edu. I want to thank our partners, Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Health System, Hopkins Local, the Mayor's Office of Small, Minority, and Women-Owned Business, the Warnock Foundation, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, and Bloomberg Philanthropies. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Raina. I really appreciate both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.